1, 2, 3. Are we both?
Very good! In this Hanu's adventure episode, Boss Stone has gathered his battleships for an assault on Dreamville. Alas, Hanu presently is...
Oh, brave Hanu! You look like you could really use some help! Long time no see, Hanu. Oh my! Are you telling? Listen closely, Hanu. But you know what? Now scurry along, Hanu. But I can't wait to see you.
Let's stay alert and make sure those monsters don't spot us. Look up there! If we can push... Finally, that's all the jigsaw pieces. Let's hurry back.
Oh my! The exquisite... Hurry now, Hanu!
Are such... Disconnecting from that thing so suddenly has left me feeling slightly disoriented. Is that Hanu? What exactly is he talking about?
Tick-tock! It's time for me to make...
Clocky?
In Dreamville, Clocky is everywhere and can do anything. Hanu says, battle! The enemy is at our doorstep! Touch that suspicious-looking TV right now!
So they just... Sheesh. Logic. Well, here we go again. Ready? I am gradually getting used to this.
Oh, did someone say high-level movies just last we saw? But brave Hanu, what?
But
Guess what? Hanu's favorite.
the storage room. It's behind the shelves, right? He wasn't lying. There's actually a bazooka here. Now we should have a way of dealing with those baddies. This thing feels just like the soaring locust too. Careful. It looks like we... Here we go again. That should be...
Oh my! Hanu is... Congratulations to both of you! Oh, you've overcome all obstacles. In the final stage, you will face the welcome to the 33rd Scorched Sand Fest.
No way. I think I just saw someone. Someone extraordinary.
Are you... That's right. This...
No way. I think I just saw someone. Someone extraordinary.
Let's wait and see.
Thank you, Knight. In that case, let's make our way to the end. Penacony's really thronging with talent. I hope we make it into... time.
Congratulations to the both of you on becoming the festive eye. On behalf of the organizers, your endeavors are worthy of extra recognition. As previously promised, my sister, Mr. Yang, and I have met with the Dream Master. We both, I, and the Oak family. We acknowledge the perspective of you, Nameless. Penacony does require change, but not as you propose. The planet of festivities can... Through your journey of overcoming obstacles, you must have glimpsed the essence of that era. Ultimately, only heroes like yourselves manage. But I would dare ask, if you did not possess the special status of having a dystopia for the survival of the fittest, or a sweet dream paradise.
That's not the point!
Mr. Sunday, even if the members of the Oak family can't fully agree on what to do about the Stellaron, now's not exactly the time. The Stellaron issue concerns the life and death of everyone on Penacony. If anyone has a bet this way, we'll at least know what Welt and Miss Robin are dealing with.
Ah, Navigator. That is precisely... Let's talk about our tribulation and our final course of action.
You mean to say that for the longest time, there have been scoundrels who...
Indeed, Dream Master. Once the Charmony Festival begins, the Stellaron's...
This is indeed surprising to me. Do you have any...
I'd like to ask... If I have offended, the Astral Express extends its sincere apology.
Dream Master, it's just to prove that the Charmony Festival has nothing to...
Sunday, Robin, I've watched you two grow up and know your dispositions. The magnitude of this matter is enormous and cannot be taken lightly. Since Mr. Yang, Sunday, might I ask you to beseech them to cast their light unto...
I will do as you command.
Robin, could I entrust you to be present as a witness? To document...
I will do as you...
May thy will be carried...
Oh, triple-faced soul. Please sear his tongue.
Let us begin. There is...
Understood. Question. Have you devoted your life to your god?
Naturally.
Do you love your god as you do yourself? Always...
Naturally.
Have you strayed from the path expected by your god?
Never.
Have you ever been inordinate with your asks of your god?
Never.
Then, a final question. Do you swear to fulfill all vows, past, present, and future?
With the Eon as my witness, if I do not deliver on my...
They have seen your faith, and have endorsed your faith.
Just a moment.
What?
I have another question. To my understanding, the family's harmony and prosperity, the god you both mentioned.
Mr. Yang should know that those belonging to the family toil together as if they were kin. Such a delicate and complex symphony. Which other...
Perfectly harmonize. Therein lies the problem. It isn't an outsider lurking in the shadows who changed the harmony, but in the distant past, there existed an Eon. With one flick of the wrist, they crafted the laws of the cosmos. Later, they fell. The route traversed by this Eon clashed with the harmony, ultimately being absorbed and fuse. Though an eon may perish, paths with no masters still linger. And they all
Mr. Yang, being overly astute can be a detriment.
So this...
For the sake of our grand cause, Sunday, please...
What?
Sorry, Robin. It's just you.
So, this is the true reason I can't sing?
We were never children of the harmony. Our ideal paradise could not have within the foundation of law, humanity, and through harmony, we
Unbelievable. To think that there would be...
What have you done with Mr. Yang?
Don't worry. I just gave them...
You should know that these actions make you a...
Should we need to stand against the Nameless, it would only be your efforts for the justice of Penacony art. Patience is a virtue.
If it is the order that drove you to imprison Welt and Robin, and you're using them to coerce out...
You're mistaken, Miss Himiko. They are in very safe hands. And just as the family has... Penacony and the entire universe have witnessed far too much innocent blood. Natural selection. The world abides by this principle, establishing the well-being...
So you've decided to resurrect a dead Eon?
If Miss Himiko is interested, let's draw back the I'm willing to divulge the unembellished truth as to the intentions of the Order's Pathstriders. So, come with me, everyone.
Huh? Where do...
Welcome. This isn't any location in Penacony's dreamscape. It's my inner world.
Did you do the same to Welt?
It's a tuning process. Stronger in effect and more draining. Tuning allows you to intuitively grasp my feelings. Which all... Now, everyone, please look at the huge screen. From this point on, you will witness the numerous decisions I've faced. I believe after going through similar predicaments. Let's begin. This story happened when Robin and I were very young. We were victims of the Stellaron disaster. And later on, Robin and I lived a time with nary a care in the world. That baby bird was tiny. It didn't even have all of its feathers, and it couldn't sing. When we found it, it was already on its last breath. We decided to build a nest for it right there and then. However, it was clear that if we left the fledgling in the yard, it stood no chance of surviving until spring. We decided that when it regained its strength enough to spread its wings, its destiny was determined by... Now, I pass the power of choice to stick to the original plan and build a nest with soft net where the Charmony dove fell, or build a cage for it and feed it. I eagerly await.
That guy just casually throws this kind... If it were me, I guess, after all, leaving it there...
It looks like he really has no... Back to the question. I would personally choose to... No special reason. I do think that a fledgling should have the right to fly.
I can't decipher his intentions right now. But even if I was gonna release it back into the sky, it'd have to be strong.
Interesting. Since you've made up your mind, from what I've observed, there are at least 3 predators in that yard that prey on small birds. The Vossuk, even if they shy away from humans, these animals are still near apex predators, and as for the choice you made, I am deep. Story happened when I was appointed as Bronze Melodia, a position exclusive to the Oak family, charged with listening to the problems and vexation. It was during that period that I had the opportunity to hear voices from all corners. He was a dream chaser and an illegal stowaway. Just like the rest of them, he told me, I sold everything I could at home. He had a plan in place. He would buy back his children once he had made his... After hearing the Dream Chaser's story, I immediately appealed to the Bloodhound family to cease their pursuit. That way, I'll tell you the outcome soon. Will you do as I did and try to convince the Bloodhound family to stop their pursuit, or will you remain silent, leaving him to languish while the hounds... I look forward to everyone's decisions.
A dream chaser story. If I... But what cruel repercussion would this choice...
This question, I'd probably choose to ask the Bloodhound.
It seems he sold his kids to chase a dream. With that thought, there's only one choice. Let the...
It seems you, like me, say he never gets caught. He would only die from delirium should he be apprehended. Could the hounds afford to turn a blind eye? As to your choice, and the story this time. This story happened the day I was appointed the Oak family head. At that, what surprised me was that the Dream Master had only come to deliver a letter. The letter contained the usual pleasantries, anecdotes from her travels, nothing out of the ordinary. Just as I started wondering how this letter related to our discussion...
Do you know who...
My sister, of course. But
to help you grasp the full scope of this issue, do you know where Robin is at this moment?
From what the letter indicates, she must...
Correct.
A straight...
A war has broken out on that planet. It is because of this she hoped to ease the people's suffering with song, and was
Is she all right?
If the operation was successful, by the eon above, the bullet struck her neck directly, yet possibly as a reward.
Those damned sap. Now you understand why she always wears such elaborate neck.
How could this...
It's all in the past, so please don't worry. I share this in the meager hope that you... Likewise, I've prepared one last question. One, because this is merely a figment of imagination. Would you still support Robin's journey?
I often feel like I've dreamt of similar scenes on certain nights. Their confusion and fear are lucid to me. If Mr. Sundays with each trailblaze, dangers and tribulations will surely follow.
Miss Robin's courage is admirable, but the fact that she's also Mr. Sunday's younger sister?
I can't believe that happened to Miss Robin. The strong defense...
I am now aware of everyone's stances. Raising these questions merely serves to illustrate one point. The plight of Penacony cannot be salvaged by the harmony. The true foundation for a sweet dream paradise. I know the suffering of being tormented. The turmoil of losing your way. How sorrow, and even despair, set in when matters don't work out. All of this causes me unending. We must teach the weak how to live a happy life. And this life isn't some noble propriety.
So what is your definition?
Good question. Human conscience. When one mistake after the next permeates the masses, they become impossible to trace. Thus, the amassing of these individual cages culminate. Nature is always accompanied by predation and sacrifice. Its antithesis, that is what I want to do. Unite people's happiness under the banner of order. They won't need to make bitter choices any longer, nor face... Simply describing thoughts is far too abstract. So allow me to provide a simple example. During these hard-earned rest days, people are given... And it is only on these days that people do not have to adhere to the law where the strong... From where I stand, society's ideal system should be 7 rest days. Following Sunday, there should ensue a second, a third, and indeed an infinite procession of... And thus, every person can return to their base selves in this utopia. Some gaze in reverence at the star. There would be no need to bear the hardships of reality. Only, Miss Firefly, you who are stricken with entropy loss syndrome.
It sounds...
But...
The cost is minute, merely a personal and eternal sacrifice. If this paradise is to be maintained for it.
Awakening. Which means that this so-called paradise is still a dream. Stepping into this paradise means forsaking reality, correct?
It is not forsaking, but transcending. Flesh, blood, sorrow, weakness. If the physical is the root of spiritual suffering.
But in this supposed bliss, people won't have defeated their demons. The chance to overcome their tribulations would be forever lost to them.
That's another way of understanding it. But there is no shame in escape. On the don't you agree, Miss Firefly? And as to why we... But this is not in conflict with the grand plan. Only in acknowledging this can we...
I admit that you are a born leader. But unlike you, I live for the self. From my perspective, individuals making choices, the want to escape may be innate in the weak. But whether they are weak, perhaps in your mind, you also... Because I don't...
Since Miss Firefly has said her piece, the Astral Express will also naturally... We'll leave it to you. Just as Mr. McHale...
What is this?
Does this place ring any bell?
I don't...
It's the realm within a dream bubble. This was left to the Astral Express by Dr. Edward from the Dreamscape sales store told me that dreams are... So I thought you might be able to help us in
I don't know much about dream...
I'm counting on you then.
Himeko, I still don't get...
I wasn't sure. It was just a hunch. But since... Exactly. This is where you and Firefly encountered death, which we now know as dormancy. The question now is, who brought you here? We're drawing closer to the truth once more.
All right, but there are...
I guess